Can you feel it? It's time. It's time for every one of us. If we get knocked down, we won't just get up. It's time we all rise up. Rise up. When stars step up. When a dome stands up. When a city lights up. We all rise up together. Touchdown! When we come on the field, we rise up. From kickoff to the last play, we rise up. This is our time, Atlanta. We've been knocking on the door. Now it's time to blow it up. Tell me, what do Falcons do? Rise up. What do Falcons do? Falcons rise up. That's what I'm talking about.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to an edition of All In with Nate. Boy, the Falcons just tried to falcon that game at the end, but they didn't. They found a way to win. I cannot believe they almost falconed that at the end. But the Falcons won 31-26, improved to 5-3 on the season. They get the sweep of Tampa Bay, which was at 4-0 in the NFC South, and sets up really well as far as the second half of the season. So they survived that one. I'm not going to lie to you. And it's unfortunate because Kirk Cousins had another great day at the office, and we almost would have been talking about the offense had a good day, and then two blunders one from Younghoe missing a field goal, which is unlike him in that position, and the fumble that turned into a safety could have automatically cost us that ball game. But the Falcons get the win. Huge win as far as the division per se. We're 4-0 in the NFC South. Also, we're 3-0 on the road. I don't know if a lot of people have noticed that, but the Falcons are undefeated at home on the road this year. They're getting ready to come back home against the Dallas Cowboys next week, who I think the Cowboys are going to get a couple of guys back. So that's a big win for the Falcons. A couple of takeaways I have for the game. By the way, Kirk Cousins balled out again. This offense has been unlocked with Kirk Cousins. And again, we just need to see it consistently. They were all just kind of off last week, and then today they were clicking. Drake London have the best game stat-wise. However, I mean, he was cooking the whole game. He was 20. I know he threw 4 touchdowns and all. He didn't throw for 300 yards, but again, hit a big touchdown to Darnell Mooney. Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts had a statistically good game, but Kyle Pitts need to go thank those officials, because I'm going to be brutally honest. That very well could have been a touchback. And if we go back and look at that play, that's possibly, it's debatable. If a Buccaneer fan says, I don't think that was a touchdown, I can't debate it with him, because to be brutally honest, I didn't think it was a touchdown. But it actually sparked the Falcon offense. They ended up going on a nice little run. They led 21-17 at the half. No, my bad, 24-17 at the half. But again, it's blunders like that. Young guys, get in the end zone before you celebrate. This clown tried to stutter step into the end zone before he crosses the end zone. And Antoine Winfield, the great pro safety that he is, almost cost him, because honestly speaking, he got that ball out. He got that ball out right before he crossed the plane. But thankfully, the officials let it stand. That don't mean that he officially, that there was not enough to overturn it, but they went with the call on the field. The call on the field was a touchdown. So, again, it is a shame because it was a great play. Kirk Cousins hit him for both of the first 2 touchdowns of the game. However, Kyle Pitts got to stop being lazy, because that very well could have cost us in this game. And looking back at it, with the score being 31-26, who knows? That very well could have cost us this ball game. But the offense did well. Falcons, they're winning the games they need to win, because again, you have this stretch with the Dallas Cowboys coming up at home, and the Falcons have been 50-50 at home. We don't know what they're going to do next week. There's a tough opponent coming in there with Dak Prescott and company. I don't care what their record is. The Dallas Cowboys is going to be a tough out no matter what. They're going to bring at least 30 to 40% of their fans to the building this upcoming week. Two of my boys, they're coming in for the game. Matter of fact, just one of them checking in right now. What's up, bro? You said, yeah, what's up, man? Phillies ATL Kirk. Now I got to give Kirk Cousins his credit. Kirk Cousins, when Kirk has time in the pocket, Kirk is unleashing this offense. He's doing what we were hoping that this Falcon offense would become. They scored 30 points again. So, again, you're doing what you need to do. The Falcons have scored over 30 points in 4 of the last 5 games, and that's what you want. You want to see your offense continue to click. And, again, that's going to have to be prevalent next week against the Dallas Cowboys. However, winning the games you're supposed to win is key. And glad he got the win. What's going on, Tev? Tev said Turbo Pitts on the block. Oh, my God, just went off on Kyle Pitts. And I'm telling you, Kyle Pitts better get that together because that could happen at another point this season, and it could cost us in the end. So, once again, he had a good day. That's probably his best game as a Falcon statistically, but we all were very, very upset with him about his lack of awareness at that end zone. So, stupid play. Terrence, what's going on, Cuzzo? He said, rise up. Yes, sir. What's going on, Anthony T? Mr. Midnight here. Cuzzo, he said, Dallas fans. Yes, Dallas fans are going to be deep. They are going to be deep. Dallas fans is going to be very close to Pittsburgh fans, if not more. Because, number one, no matter what y'all say about the Cowboys don't win this, Cowboys don't do that, that fan base is here. That is a worldwide fan base, and it's a ton of them that live in the city of Atlanta and the state of Georgia. They're going to be out there. Trust me. We don't have to worry about it not being a big amount of Cowboy fans. It's probably going to be 65-35 Falcons or 60-40 Falcons. Trust me when I tell you that. And plus, the ticket price they're going to buy them tickets. They're going to want to see their Cowboys. So, hey, it's going to be a crazy atmosphere next week. The Falcons need this win. KD Bailey said we need some time. Man. We can't say enough about how awful this defensive front seven is. They're horrible. Once again, the Falcons did not get a sack. They get pressure. They don't get sacks. You brought Matthew Judon in who don't get sacks. Grady can't really get a lot of pressure like that, and he's your leading sack leader. He has a sack and a half. David Onyemata has fallen off a cliff. Arlen Bichetti, no comment. You don't have a good pass rush. And the problem is, most quarterbacks can sit in the pocket and dot you up all game long. Baker Mayfield threw for over 300 yards this game. I'm not going to take anything away from Baker Mayfield. He got enough out of what he had. This guy put 26 up with no Mike Evans, no Chris Godwin. He just was out there figuring it out with K. Dodden, the running backs, and all that good stuff. Baker Mayfield fits that offense well. However, he was not pressured barely in this ball game. That has to change. I said it in my previous show. I didn't give him a chance to do one against the Seahawks. I actually planned on doing one, but things came up. However, you are not going to win in January if you can't pressure past the quarterback. If you don't get that quarterback on the ground, again, you got Dak Prescott coming in here next week. Quiet as it's kept, the Cowboys might be 500, but they have a top 5 passing offense in the National Football League. Do you want to let CeeDee Lamb go crazy on you next week? No. Do you want Jake Ferguson to cook you like this next week? No. You better get some pass rush and quick, because I'm telling you, this is going to be a problem down the stretch if the Falcons are trying to win in the postseason. I honestly think the Falcons, whether it's a vet in free agency or you trade for someone, I'm not saying make a major trade like I've seen people talk about a Max Crosby, a Myles Garrett, those guys like that. We don't need to make that type of splash because, as I've said in the previous show, the Atlanta Falcons are a good football team. They are not a player away from going to the Super Bowl. You make smart moves that put you in contention now, meaning getting to the postseason. meaning winning your division. Do not make a move to put your team in a position if you're not set up to win deep in January. That's my issue with the Atlanta Falcons right now. You're not set up front to win deep in January. And that's going to become an issue if the Falcons don't clean it up in the next coming weeks. And again, you're 5-3. I'm not trying to kill the team for a good start. This is the best start we've had since 2017. However, you got to start getting pressure on the quarterback. It's a multitude of things. I don't know if it's the scheme. I don't know if it's the personnel. Well, for one, no disrespect to Nate Landman, no disrespect to Caden Ellis. This is one of the worst linebacking corps in the National Football League. They don't have a lot there, and they're not quick to be in the 3-4. They were better set for a Ryan Nielsen defense last year. These guys do not fit a Jimmy Lake defense. And again, shout out to my boy Julian. I don't know if he's tuned in right now. He is also saying, I'm going to be fair. They don't have the personnel right now to run a 3-4. But that's going to be a big need in the offseason. However, you got to start finding some type of pass rush if you plan on being a team to watch come January. That's the problem that I have with the Atlanta Falcons right now. The thing is, your offense is good enough to be one of the better offenses in the National Football League right now. That defense is going to let anybody cook them. And at this point, you got a couple of good, solid offensive units coming up. Dallas is coming in next week. New Orleans is going to always play us tough in 2 weeks. You got Bo Nix and Sean Payton, that crew in Denver in a few weeks before I buy. So again, that pass rush got to show up. You cannot just kill the secondary like that because, again, they're having to defend for dang near 10 seconds because quarterbacks are having time to roll out, zone the field, go down the seams, do this and do that. That has to be cleaned up. Now, there were some blunders on the offense that very well could have lost the ball game. That fumble, I don't know what happened right there, but thankfully that was only 2 points because that could have been a whole different situation if that would have been anything worse than a safety. So thankfully, that only was 2 points. But that last one where Younghoe misses the field goal, it angers me because Kirk Cousins extended that drive. And shout out to Kirk Cousins. There was a first and long on a big run, and Kirk Cousins got 13 yards on second down. He put himself in position to get the fourth down conversion. He did enough to put your team in position to go up 8, which would have been a touchdown on a 2-point conversion. But because you missed the field goal, your defense was put in a bad spot. Luckily, they didn't have no more timeouts. But again, and then they were bend but don't break. They got it out of there with a win. However, you don't want to put your defense in that position because guess what? I don't know what the result would have been if Mike Evans and Chris Godwin would have been on the field. That's just the God honest truth. And we're being honest here. We're glad we won, but we're being brutally honest because we're diehard Falcon fans. And at the end of the day, when you look at games going forward in late November, in December, and even in January, you have to be prepared for situations like this. And the Falcons got to tighten up. Straight up. Brandon Sketcher said that we don't have a pass rush because we don't stunt. We don't. They just run out there and hug each other, basically. That's what I think I'm seeing when I'm seeing. Of course, the rushing attack is not that good. I mean, the rushing defense, my bad, is not that good. And they don't do enough to get pressured. And then another thing, they're probably one of the worst third down defensive units in the NFL. They get a lot of positions where the defense is, where offense is 3rd and 12, first down, 3rd and 11, first down, 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4. You know they're going to convert it because the Falcons aren't getting the stops they need to get. And they got to start doing that in key situations. I think coming into the season, this game this week, they were the second worst team on third down in the NFL. That has to change. Also, the longest inning drives. I think I have not looked at the stats. I'm going to pull them up on here for everyone in a few. I want to say Tampa won time of possession again. The Falcons have rarely won time possession this season. That has to change also. If you plan on contending, you cannot continue to allow teams to continue to have the ball for over 30 to 34 minutes. A great team is going to beat you that way. Thankfully, the Falcons got out there with a win. But again, got to be cleaned up. Got to be cleaned up, or we're going to have a long season ahead. Or we're going to start losing some games like how Seattle last week. Seattle started getting pressure on that quarterback. Kirk made a couple of boneheaded throws. The defense was getting cooked. And look at what happened last week. You got to be ready because you got Dak Prescott and company coming in next week. So, again, good win for the Falcons. Don't want to throw them down too much because ultimately you won the game. So, you're setting yourself up to where you could possibly go. I'm not going to get too far ahead, but you're in position to possibly go undefeated in the division. Possibly. I'm not going to sit there and go ahead and scream, we want that we're going to go undefeated in the division. I'm not going to be that fan. But again, you have set yourself up well to also possibly go undefeated in the NFC South. You only have 2 more NFC South games left. But the benefit is you handled your business. Now you got a very tough Dallas team coming up in here next Sunday. Whoever's going to the game, let me know. We got to link up because it's going to be a lot of Cowboy fans in the building. But let me put the stat line up for the game. Give me 1 second. 1 second. Okay. So let me, hold on. I'm going to there we go. So just looking over the statistics for this game, Kirk Cousins, an outstanding day at the office. 23 of 29, 276, 4 touchdowns, no picks, got sacked twice. QB rating of a $145.9. Kirk Cousins has officially unlocked the Atlanta Falcons offense. So everybody that was mad about the money, this is what happens when you go pay for your quarterback. You are set up well short term. You got your guy on the bench that's going to be getting ready, learning those reps, learning these close games, situations long term in Michael Penix Jr. But you are in a solid position with Kirk Cousins. Kirk is doing what we paid him to do, is to come out there, get this offense cooking, and find a way to win these ball games for the Atlanta Falcons. Now, Baker Mayfield, this is an impressive stat line, by the way. 37 of 50, 330 yards passing, 3 touchdowns. Falcons even did come up with 2 key interceptions. Shout out to AJ Terrell and Jesse Bates for those interceptions in the game. But outside of that, Baker was dealing most of the game. That's one thing I got to give Baker his props for. Baker he didn't have literally nothing out there. He was moving that ball. Shout out to him. Rushing total, Bijan 13 of 63. I hate that what's his name? Ray McLeod got flagged. Ray McLeod actually messed up down. Bijan ended up scoring a touchdown on that drive. But Bijan had a nice rushing touchdown, but unfortunately got called back for a hold. Tyler Algier, 12 of 33. Ray McLeod got a jet sweep, which really could have been a touchdown, but I think he ran into Tyler Algier. Goofy play, I know. Kirk Cousins, 3 carries for 16 yards, including that big 3rd down run to set up the 4th down run. Shout out to Kirk Cousins, man, because Kirk ain't got no speed. He run like he got a refrigerator on his back, but Kirk made a play when he needed to make a play. Shout out to Kirk Cousins, man. For the Buccaneers, Bucky Irvin, 9 of 44. Rashad White, 6 of 29. Jalen McMillan had 17. Baker had 11. The Falcons actually was a little bit better this game as far as stopping the run. You know, they still have their moments, though, but they were a little better. I got to give them their props. Let's go to the receiving. Darnell Mooney, 5 of 92 in a touchdown. Darnell Mooney also could have probably had 2 touchdowns. Kyle Pitts, 4 of 91. By the way, Kirk is getting Kyle Pitts involved in this offense week after week after week. He is starting to bring Kyle Pitts out the last couple of weeks. If you had him on fantasy football, you are a happy person today. Bijan 6 of 37 with a touchdown. Drake London 4 for 34. He didn't really have to do much today because his offense was moving consistently well. Charlie Warner had a 13-yard reception. Ray had 3 for 9. On the Buccaneers side, K. Otten, great day at the office, 9 of 81 for 2 touchdowns on tight end day. Rakim Jarrett, 3 for 58. Bucky Irvin, 7 of 40. Rashad White had a receiving touchdown. And again, he distributed the ball around to every weapon that he could possibly use in his game. So great move by the great play by him. Okay, on the Falcons side, we had a fumble by Kirk Cousins. He ended up kicking out the end zone. Rashad White lost. Jesse Bates stripped Rashad White on a run early in the game that set up the first Falcon touchdown of the day. So shout out to Jesse Bates. Cincinnati, I thank you from the bottom of my heart for this man in 2022 because he's been next level great for us. Probably the best safety in Falcon history. Baker Mayfield had a fumble, but he recovered it. Okay, Atlanta's defense. Caden Ellis led the team with 11 tackles. AJ Terrell had an interception, had 7 tackles and a breakup. Nate Lamon, 7 tackles. Mike Hughes, 6. Jesse Bates, 5. Also had a pick. D. Offer with 5. Richie Grant with 4. Richie Grant looked like the Richie Grant that we all know and hate, by the way. James Smith-Williams, 4 tackles, had 2 solo. Clark Phillips had 3 for 3. Judah had a solo tackle and a pass breakup. That was a good breakup, too. I don't know why he was in coverage, by the way. Let's see. Tevin said Pitts with 29 fantasy points. I didn't give up on him. Shout out to Kyle Pitts today, man. Shout out to him. Grady Jarrett with 3 tackles. Tyler Algier had some tackles on special teams. Cardero Hodge, shout out to him sniffing out that one, that fake punt that was a big stop. Looking back at it on early in the fourth quarter, that actually helped the Falcons take that double-digit lead. Demond Harris had 2 tackles. J.D. Bertrand got in the game. As you see, just the tackles for the Falcons overall. As far as Tampa, K.J. Britt, 10 tackles, 3 solo. Christian Izien, 9 for 7. By the way, Christian Izien, I got to give him props on a play that he had. Kyle Pitts didn't block the play well, but Izien sniffed out the screen on that one play early in the third quarter. If he does not sniff that out, Ray McCloud might have a touchdown. So big play by him. Levante David do what Levante David does best, 8 for 4. Antoine Winfield, 7 tackles, 3 solo. Zion McCullum with 6 tackles. Vita Vea had a tackle for a loss. CJ Brewer had 2 sacks today. Shout out to CJ Brewer. He stepped up and got his first 2 career sacks in the game. Elijah Kansas had he didn't do anything. Yaya had 2 tackles. Interceptions, AJ Terrell and Jesse Bates, as I mentioned. Ray McCloud had a 32-yard return on a punt. On a kick return. Sean Tucker had a 20-yard run. Let's see. Trey Palmer had a 17-yard run. Avery Williams had a 14. As you see, Young Ho missed a big field goal that could have put the Falcons up 8 on that drive before the last attempt by the Buccaneers. He was 4 for 4 on extra points, though. Bradley Pinion had a good game. He pinned the Bucs on a couple of plays in the game, and Trenton Gill only punted 1 time for the Buccaneers. So let me go. Hold on. One more stat so I got to show before our eyes go back to the full screen. Team statistics. Okay. 24 Buccaneers passing first downs total. Falcons had 20. The Bucs were 9 of 14 on third down. That has to be cleaned up. That is a slap in the face at the defense, and there's a lot of blame to go around. Raheem is at blame. You got to tighten that defense up. Jimmy Lake's scheme sucks. I'm going to go ahead and say it sucks. But I'm trying to get that man a chance. This is the first year under Raheem Morris. This is your first time being a defensive coordinator. You need a full offseason to get your defensive unit right. But it don't look good right now. That unit right there gets you 1 and done in the postseason. They were 1 or 2 on fourth down. The Falcons 6 of 12 on third. They're getting better each week with the third down conversions. 2 of 2 on fourth down. Bucs ran more plays than the Falcons total drives. They had more passing offense than we did. We outran them. Penalties was kind of even. The Bucks had 3 turnovers. The Falcons had 0. And once again, the Falcons let another team have the ball for over 30 minutes. It needs to be cleaned up, Falcons. It needs to be cleaned up fast. Cleaned up fast. Tired of that. But again, Falcons won. And they're in first place by themselves with a 2-game edge on Tampa Bay. So now, going forward, the Falcons got Dallas coming in the building. The Cowboys, you can never sleep on them. They're getting healthy. I think we could possibly have Michael Parsons out there against that pass rush. We got to also get Chris Lindstrom healthy. He got hurt during the game today. Who knows? The Cowboys are getting healthy at the right time. They got a big game with the San Francisco 49ers tonight. They need to win that game to possibly keep themselves in a solid position going forward for the NFC East, because the Eagles won today. The Commanders have been really good. So they're trying to keep pace in the NFC East and in the NFC in general. So you're going to get the Cowboys' best shot next week. Trust me, you will. So good game by the Atlanta Falcons. Overall, you won. That's the key thing. We didn't care how you came out of there. It wasn't the prettiest ending to the game, but you won. So can't knock you too much for that. So again, 5-3 is a good position to be in. If you go into the Cowboy game, you might want to get there early. You know I'll be out there. And again, if the Falcons find a way to beat Dallas next week, that's a huge step as far as trying to put this NFC South picture away. But again, you got to win. That's the key today. You won the ball game. And the Falcons will come home. They got to be better at home. They've been 2-3. This is our 6th home game too, by the way. Too many home games. After that game, the Falcons are going to be on the road a lot more. So, again, you need to establish some momentum and some home field advantage at home next week. But it's going to be a tough task. Again, I appreciate y'all tuning in. Falcons got the win. They're 5-3, first place by themselves for the first time in God knows when, probably 6 years. But again, hey, enjoy the win. Enjoy your victory Monday, and let's get ready for a hectic November. And let's try to start seeing what can this offense continue to click, and can this defense find a pass rush finally. But this has been an episode of All In with Nate. I appreciate y'all tuned in. I will be back sometime this week. Until then, rise up. Falcons 5-3. Good night, y'all.